All right, guys, welcome back to the 1908 American League. Give you a little refresher on where we stand. The St. Louis Browns are going to be playing in Chicago today. The Browns are at 11-9. White Sox are down at 9-12, down in seventh place as the Athletics have started to take control of this American League. So we'll see how St. Louis does. Of course, it's a little bit surprising probably to most of you watching, although we're early in the season, but to see the White Sox playing so poorly, at least it's been surprising to me. Here's Hobe Ferris, and there we go. He leads it off, rolling at 26 for a 27. That's a ground ball to third base. It's Tannehill who has it, throws to first, one away. Tom Jones comes up now. And his roll is a 13 for a 14, so that'll be a walk. First walk given up here today by Doc White. Doc White comes into this game 2-2 record, 11 strikeouts, 4 walks, a 1.57 ERA. Opposing batters hitting 236 off of him. Here's Roy Hartzell. Rolling 55 for an 8. That's a ground ball over to third base. Again, Tannehill has to go to first with it. Jones moves up to second, 2 away, and it's George Stone. And let's see, there we go. Stone comes up next, hitting 253. And let's see how he does. His roll is a 34. Whoop. Let's see, let's try that again. There we go, 34 for a 44. There is a little E-roll, and this time it is going to be a 42, so still out of the range, and that'll be a fly ball over to center field, and the Jones, other Jones goes and grabs that for the out. And we go to the bottom of the first inning. I just noticed something interesting where you see T. Jones here, but here we just see Jones. I'm not quite sure what's going on, what initiates, what causes the prefix, the what would that be, the initial to show up, and what causes the not to, but it's going to be a little confusing for us. Patsy Doherty rolls a 42 for a 14 and walks on the as the first batter against Jack Powell. Powell 2-3, 281 ERA, 257 batting against average. You get the feeling that for 1908, if you're basically like probably 230 or less, you're doing well. If you're above that, you're not doing so well. Powell not doing so well. George Davis now rolls a 46 for a 29. That's going to be come back over to Powell. He goes over to short to Wallace, covering the bag at second for the force out, 1 away. It's going to be Fielder Jones up there now. And Jones rolls a 13 for a 14. That'll be a ball. 1 ball to count. Next rolls a 56 for a 30. So that's a fly ball over to left field. Stone has that for the second out. And here comes Jiggs Donahue. And he rolls a 41 for a 28, excuse me, and it's a ground ball to Wallace, the shortstop, who throws to first for the out. And we go to the top of the second inning. Jimmy Williams up there now for the Browns. And Williams rolls a 53 for a 19, changed over to a 16. That'll be a fly ball over to Jones in center field for the out, 1 away. So that randomization of the error, at least in this case, probably turned what would have surely been an error into a fly out. That happens from time to time. We just sort of roll with the flow. Tubby Spencer now rolls a 63 for a 30. That'll be a fly ball to left. Doherty has that, 2 away. And now it's Danny Hoffman. 2 outs, top of the second. He rolls a 16 for a 28. That's a grounder over to Atz, and Jake Atz throws to first for the out. And he gets up to lead off the bottom of the second inning. Jake Atz hitting 194, and here we go with the low averages. He rolls a 13 for a 14. It's going to be a walk, and that'll bring up Ed Hahn with a runner on at first. And so tradition has it that you would sort of bunt him over. Let's try that. The roll here is a 15 for a 10, so that would have been a base hit. Probably, I think it was a base hit against a B. Instead, it is a bunt over to the right side. Jones has it and flips over to Williams, the second baseman, covering a first for the out. And so adds now the runner at second with 1 away, and there are 2 chances here for the White Sox to drive him in. Up now is Art Weaver. And Weaver rolls a 22 for an 8. That's going to be a comebacker right back to Powell, who goes to first with it. And Atz moves up to third base, 2 away. Lee Tannehill up. And Lee rolls a 13 for a 39, changed to 36. That'll be a wild pitch on Jake Powell, which allows the runner to score. So the White Sox with a 1-0 lead. They haven't even had a hit in this game yet. Tannehill now rolls an 11. Well, I spoke too soon on that one. And the next roll is a 22. That'll be a 4. It's a double over third base for Tannehill, and that brings up Doc White, the pitcher. So the run comes cheaply, but the hit comes after, and here's Doc White. White rolls a 52 for a 27. That's going to be a ground ball over to Ferris. Third baseman has it, throws to first. And we go to the top of the third. Bobby Wallace up there now for St. Louis. Wallace hitting 160. You get to the bottom half of these orders, and it just looks like a bloodbath. He rolls a 33 for a 7. There's a single to right. That'll help the bloodbath a little bit. Stops the bleeding, and that brings up Jack Powell, the pitcher. Powell, and there's a question as to what we should do with him. We probably will bunt in this case. Wallace not slow. I think it's safe. The rule here is a 31 for a 9. That's a bunt over to the left side, a good one. Tannehill has it, throws over to Davis covering it first, and Wallace moves up to second. So there's one away, 2 chances for the Browns to score here, and here is Hobe Ferris. And let's see if there's a hope for Hobe. His roll is a 35 for a 9. That's going to be a single that will score the runner. Ferris stays at first. So 1-1 ball game now. And that brings up Tom Jones now. Jones hitting only 197. Kind of struggling here, but I think everybody on St. Louis is struggling. He rolls a 43 for a 29. There's a comebacker to White, who goes to first with it. Ferris moves up to second. 2 away, though, now. And here's White Hartzell. He rolls a 53 for a 15. That'll be changed to a 22, which means it's a error on the pitcher. I'm sorry, no, it's a stolen base by by Ferris. So Ferris steals third, and Hartzell, of course, still up there. The roll now is a 36 for a 32. It's a fly ball to right field, and Hahn has that for the out. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Patsy Doherty will lead this off. Doherty rolls a 12 for a 25, and there's the little E roll coming up. It's a 42, which is out of the range. That means it's a ground ball over to Williams, who throws to first. 1 away. George Davis now. Davis rolls a 35 for a 36. It's changed to a 40. That'll be a foul ball. Next roll is a 23 for a 32. Fly ball over to right field. Hartzell has it for the out. 2 away. Fielder Jones. And Jones rolls a 16 for a 26. It's a ground ball to second, and Williams has it. Throws to first, and we go to the top of the 4th inning. George Stone is up now. Oops. We'll try that one again. Rolls a 35 for a 9. That's a single with a little C. Stone is thrown out trying to steal. So 1 away, and here's Jimmy Williams. Williams rolls an 11 for a 0. Next rolls a 26 for a 2, so that'll be a double to right center field. Puts Williams on at second base with 1 out here, top of the 4th, and Tubby Spencer now the batter. Man, 071 is his batting average, so I guess you know what we're going to do with him. He rolls a 23 for a 32, but it's a bunt, and he runs it over to the right side. Donahue has it, flips over to Davis. Williams moves up to 3rd, and there's 2 away here. Danny Hoffman now the big chance for St. Louis. And he rolls a 32 for a 26. It'll be a little ground ball to Davis, who throws to first, and we go to the bottom of the 4th. Still tied at 1, and up come the White Sox again. Jiggs Donahue leads this off, rolls a 16 for a 26. It's a ground ball this time to Williams, who throws to first. 1 gone. Jake Atz. He rolls a 13 for a 14, and he takes a walk. So the White Sox are definitely living up to the Hitless Wonders monk here, as they have only 1 hit in this ball game and have 1 run, tied 1-1. Here's Ed Hahn, who's going to bunt, and he rolls a 31 for a 9, so it's another bunt that would have been a hit. It's a bunt, over to Ferris on the left side, who throws to Williams covering at first, and there's 2 away now with Atz on at second. Art Weaver, who already, he grounded out the first time. He didn't drive in the run, did he? Weaver, I think there was a wild pitch, something like that happened. Weaver rolls a 63 for a 30. It's a fly ball to left field, and Stone has it for the out. We go to the top of the 5th inning. I guess I could go look it up. And it wasn't on him, actually. It was on Tannehill. There was that wild pitch. So there you go. Bobby Wallace here, top of the 5th inning for the Browns. He rolls a 45 for a 14. It's going to be a walk. Wallace takes first base, and here comes Jack Powell. Jack Powell comes up, and it's going to be time to bunt once again. We've done a lot of this, haven't we? The roll is a 13 for a 23. That's going to be a pop-up bunt over to White. White grabs it and then throws over to Donahue at first. They get the runner, and it's the worst of all worlds. 2 away with 1 bunt of the bat. Here now is Hobe Ferris. Ferris rolls a 22 for a 7. That's going to be a single to right field. And that brings up Tom Jones. Now, that single wouldn't have scored the run, but it would have done something. Jones now. He rolls a 65 for a 35. It's going to be a foul ball over to the catcher Weaver, and we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. White Sox come up again. 1-1 still the score, still tied. Lee Tannehill, first batter, rolls a 52 for a 27. It's a ground ball to Ferris. He throws to first, 1 away. Doc White now. White rolls a 32 for a 26. It's a ground ball to Williams at second, throws to first, 2 gone. Patsy Doherty. And Patsy rolls a 21 for a 30. It's a fly ball this time to left field. Stone has it, and we go to the top of the 6th inning. Still quiet. All is quiet for the Chicago White Sox, and here is Hartzell. Hartzell rolls a 21 for a 30. It's a fly ball to left field, and Doherty has that for the first out, one away. Up now is George Stone. Stone rolls a 63 for a 31. It'll be a fly ball over to Jones, the center fielder, for the second out. Two away, and here's Jimmy Williams. And Williams, and I can see, boy, we're having some problems with focus. There we go. Williams rolls a 61 for a 36, changed to a 40. That's going to be a foul ball. Try one more time here, and he rolls a 45 for a 14. It takes a walk. So that's the sixth walk this season given up by White. I'm sorry, third walk given up today. And here comes Tubby Spencer. So a little bit of a chance for the Browns. We'll see if they can make it work. The roll now is a 51 for a 9. That's a ground ball left side over to third baseman Tannehill, who throws to first. And we go to the bottom of the sixth inning. It'll be George Davis here for the White Sox. Still tied at 1-1, still a tight game. Davis rolls a 16 for a 28, ground ball to short. Wallace has it, throws to first, one away. Here's Fielder Jones. Jones rolls a 43 for a 29. That's a comebacker to Jack Powell, who throws to first for the second out. Two gone, and here's Jiggs Donahue. And I'm sorry about the zoom here. I think that the focus, I think what's happening is my hand is knocking it off. Donahue rolls a 31 for a 14. That'll be a walk. That brings up Jake Atz now with the runner on at first base, 2 outs. I feel like it's been like this all day long for the White Sox. And Atz rolls a 22 for an 8. That's going to be a ground ball over to Ferris, the third baseman, throws to first, and we go to the top of the 7th. I was reading a report in I think it was in the APBA Journal the other day. In fact, I think I did a video on it talking about 1908 season from a guy who played through, I think he played through the National League. And he was talking about how there were a bunch of games in 1908 that featured a lot of hits and also a lot of runs that you wouldn't expect. This is not one of those. This is one of those typical 1908 games, just as you thought it would be. Hoffman rolls a 66 for a 0. May have spoken too soon. Next rolls a 35 for a 2. That's a big triple to left center field, and that brings up Bobby Wallace, and the infield will come in. Now the question is, do you bunt or do you swing away? Hoffman's not particularly fast. We'll swing away. Rolls a 12 for a 24, and here comes that Little E. That's going to be important here. Yep, Little E rolls a 16, so it's within the range, and that means that's going to be hit over to the first baseman, Donahue, who misplays it, run scores, and that puts Wallace over on first base, and that's a pretty big play here in this game at this moment. So Wallace, actually the number 8 hitter, I don't know why it's telling me he's number 2, because the thing is broken. Number 8 hitter, ends up causing an error on the fielder, and that will bring up Jack Powell now with nobody out, runner on at first, and that means that once again Powell will be called upon to bunt. He has bunted twice so far today. He's 0 for 1 technically, because one of those was a double play that won't count as a sacrifice. This time he rolls a 63 for a 29, and so that's going to be a bunt over to the first baseman Donahue, who throws to short to second base. Atz covering the bag, and they get the lead runner. So now Jack Powell is the runner on at first. There's one away. It's still 2-1. And here's Hope Ferris. The pitcher on at first. Ferris rolls a 25 for an 8. That's going to be a single over the left center field. They're going to play it safe with Powell. And now there's some chances for the Browns to extend this lead. Up now is Tom Jones. 7 hits for the Browns against 1 for the White Sox. Roll is a 13 for a 14, and that'll be a walk charged to Doc White. He has walked 4 today, 7 so far this year. And here comes Roy Hartzell with the bases loaded, only 1 out, top of the 7th. And the roll is a 62 for a 12, and there's a Little E roll, of course. I think that if this is not an error, I think it's a double play. The roll is a 66, so they waste 1. And yeah, this is going to be a ground ball over to the shortstop Atz. He throws over to Davis for 1 back on to first for the double play. We go to the bottom of the 7th. I probably should have had the infield in. I don't know. You could debate it one way or another, but it's probably a good thing for them that I didn't. Ed Hahn now is up there. And let's see, there's the focus back. The roll for Hahn is a 23 for a 32. Fly ball to right field. Hartzell has it for the out, 1 away. Art Weaver. He rolls a 41 for a 28. That's going to be a ground ball to the shortstop, Wallace, who throws to first. 2 gone. Lee Tannehill's up there now. And Lee rolls a 26 for a 30. It's a fly ball to left field, and that's going to be Stone, who has that for the out. And we go to the top of the 8th. So the White Sox up and down quickly as they have been all game long. And here is George Stone for the Browns. Stone rolls a 52 for a 27. It's a ground ball again to Tannehill. Throws to first. 1 gone. Here now is Jimmy Williams. Williams rolls a 46 again for a 27. So the same roll, same result. Another ground ball over to Tannehill, who throws to first. There's 2 away. And now up is Tubby Spencer. He rolls a 25 for a 9. It's going to be a pop-up this time over to Tannehill. And we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. So the White Sox running out of time here. Doc White, now the pitcher, is the hitter. Bottom of the 8th. White rolls a 33 for a 7. That'll be a single to right, and that might be the start of something. Up now is Patsy Doherty. We're going to check out this card, and he does have that 11. It's going to be hit and run time here for the White Sox. Only their second hit of this ball game. And Doherty, with the hit and run on, rolls a 22 for an 8, and that'll be a single to right. That gets White over to third, but Doherty is then caught trying to steal right afterwards. So Doherty ends up sort of the victim of his own greed. And that means that there is now 1 out with a runner on at third base. And the heart of the White Sox order is coming up. So up next is Davis, George Davis, who is 0 for 3, just as is just about everybody else on this team. Infield will come in. Davis is going to... Do we bunt? Do we have him swing away? I don't know. I mean... With the F, I think we will have him swing away. Let's see what happens. And the roll's a 66 for a 0. Of course this happens. And the next roll is an 11 for a 4. That would have probably been a home run. That is a bunt back to Powell, and there's no play at the plate. He has to go to Williams at first. And they do it. They get the runner at first, and that ties this baby up at 2. So, I mean, there's a real question as to whether that was the right play or not. But as it turns out, the White Sox have tied this ball game. Only 3 hits in this game for the White Sox against 7 for the Browns, and yet the score is all even, and that's the score that counts. Nobody cares how many hits you got. Fielder Jones is now up there with nobody on, 2 outs, bottom of the 8th, and he rolls an 11 for a 7. That'll be a single to right for Jones, and up next is Jiggs Donahue. So now there's a runner on at first base again. Here comes Jiggs, and Jack Powell having a little bit of trouble here. 4 hits given up. And the roll's a 63 for a 32. That'll be a fly ball over to center field. Hoffman's got it for the out, and we go to the top of the 9th inning. Really, really tight and very close affair. This happens from time to time in 1908, as you know. Danny Hoffman, the first batter here for the Browns, top of the 9th. And he rolls a 34 for a 44. It's a fly ball to center field. Jones has it for the out. 1 away. Bobby Wallace is up now. Wallace rolls a 51 for a 9. That's a pop-up over to the third baseman. Ferris has that. Ferris. Tannehill has that. 2 away. I get mixed up with Skeetersoft every now and then. Here comes Jack Powell. Powell rolls a 63 for a 29. That's a comebacker over to the pitcher, White, who throws to first for the out. And we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's Jake Atz for the White Sox. White Sox looking to get a winner across. Atz rolls a 61 for a 36. That's going to be a ball. Next roll is a 34 for a 44. Fly ball over to center field. Hoffman's got it for the out. 1 away. Ed Hahn now. And Hahn rolls a 21 for a 30. Fly ball over to left field. Stone has that 2 away. You can see me look over every time I roll because I don't have the angle right. I should have moved this camera over a little bit more when I started. It's poor planning. Art Weaver up now. Weaver rolls a 45 for a 14. So that'll be another walk charge to Jack Powell. He's got a Z. He's given up 5 walks in this game. Imagine that. Yeah, this is the sort of stuff that happens when I try to do this later at night than I probably should. These games, I probably should be trying to play them in the afternoon. Lee Tannehill now. Problem is when you get the kids off from school. Tannehill, and he rolls a 23 for a 32. It's a fly ball to center field, and Hoffman's got that for the out. We go to the top of the 10th. So the White Sox will have White leading off the inning. This will probably be Doc White's last inning pitch. He's given up 7 hits, 2 runs. He's pitched okay. Hope Ferris is the first batter he faces, and Ferris rolls a 14 for a 43. Here's a little E-roll, and it's a 51. So that ends up being a fly ball to left field. Doherty has that for the out, 1 away, and now it's Tom Jones. Jones rolls a 41 for a 28. That'll be a ground ball over to Jake Atz, the shortstop. Throws to first, 2 gone. And it's Roy Hartzell. Hartzell rolls a 41 for a 28. Another ground ball over to Atz, who throws to first. And that does it for the Browns in the top of the 10th. And here comes White. We'll also keep an eye on Jack Powell, the pitcher for the Browns. And trying to think of who we want to put in. Probably John Anderson will be the best pinch hitter. 235 this season. He started a couple of games, 2 RBIs. And Anderson rolls a 14 for a 43. Here is that little E-roll. Ends up being a 66 way out of the range. That's a fly ball over the left field. Stone has it for the out, 1 away. Patsy Doherty up there now. Leadoff hitter for the White Sox. 1 for 3 today. Caught stealing after his 1 hit. He rolls a 32 for a 26. It's a ground ball to Williams, who throws the first, 2 gone. And here's George Davis, who had that bunt, that sacrifice squeeze play that scored that run. 0 for 3 today. And he rolls a 46 for a 29. That's a comebacker back to Powell, throws to first, and we go to the top of the 11th. Anderson comes out, of course, and I'm thinking probably Nick Altrock is who we want to put in. He's pitched in 3 games so far, has an astronomical ERA. That sounds like a good guy to put into the top of the 11th inning of a tight ball game. Not exactly a game with a whole ton of importance laid to it. The Browns would definitely like to win and be very close to trying to get back into consideration for the pennant, or stay at least, try to keep even with the Athletics. Stone here rolls a 45 for a 14, and Altrock comes up and promptly gives up a walk, and that brings up Jimmy Williams. Stone has an F. He has an 11. We're going to hit and run with him. And let's see what happens. Jimmy Williams, he rolls a 54 for a 45. It's going to be a fly ball over to right field. Hahn has that for the out, 1 away. Tubby Spencer. Now let's try another hit and run. Do it twice in a row. The roll this time, 54 for a 45. Same play, same result. Hahn grabs that for the out, 2 away. Danny Hoffman now will take off the hit and run. And the roll is a 65 for a 35. There is a little E-roll on this one. It's a 51 out of the range. That's going to be a foul over to the catcher, Weaver, and we go to the bottom of the 11th inning. Fielder Jones to lead this off. Jones rolls an 11 for a 7. That's another base hit for Jones, so he is going to end up 2 for 5. Probably at the end of this one, depending on what happens here. Jones, of course, is pretty fast, has the ability to get around the bases, and here now is Jiggs Donahue. Remember, we're going to keep an eye here on Jack Powell, whether we're going to keep him in or not. Rolls a 23 for a 32, a fly ball to right field, and Hartzell has that for the out, 1 gone. Here is Jake Atz, and I'm actually going to bunt with Atz. Looking at that average, we're going to bunt. And the roll is a 61 for a 36. That's a pass ball that gets away. Atz does not swing at that one, and it gets by the catcher, and that puts the runner on at second. And so now that changes everything. Now we're going to swing away, I think, with Atz now that the runner is in scoring position. And he rolls 24 for a 13. That's a strikeout. 2 away, and here's Ed Hahn. Again, bottom of the 11th inning, 2 gone, 1-1 tie, or 2-2 tie. And Hahn rolls a 52 for a 27. That's a ground ball over to Hope Ferris. The third baseman throws to first, and we go to the top of the 12th inning. Top of the 12th, it's going to be Bobby Wallace leading this off, number 8 hitter for the Browns. We'll try that again. That was in between 2 rolls. 31 is the roll, and that's going to be a pop-up over to the third baseman, Tannehill, for the first out. And here comes Jack Powell. Jack Powell is going to be taken out of this game. Al Schweitzer is going to come in as the pinch hitter. So Powell ends up going 11 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits. Does a pretty good job. 7 men stranded for the White Sox. The walks are the things that really got to him. Schweitzer rolls a 46 for a 13 and strikes out. Well, the pitcher could have done that. 2 gone. Here's Hope Ferris. And Ferris rolls a 46 for a 29 as a comebacker over to Altrock, who throws to first. And that does it. And we go to the bottom of the 12th inning. And now the White Sox have a whole bunch of pitchers to choose from. They're probably going to look, I'm thinking Dode Chris maybe we're going to do. I know we've probably pitched him more than we should. It's been a couple of days, though, since he's had much work. So let's put him in. Dode Chris comes into this game, and he will face Art Weaver to lead things off. Art Weaver so far today is 0 for 3 with a walk. And he rolls a 66 for a 6. That'll be a double for Weaver, and that's a pretty big roll. Bottom of the 12th inning, Art Weaver doubles to lead things off, and that's the way you start it. That's definitely how you start this. So the White Sox start this one off with a runner on at second base, and here comes Lee Tannehill. Remember that post I wrote a while ago? I can't remember who was playing it, but about how let's think here a little bit about starting a game late at night and thinking that you're going to finish it, and then it ends up going 15 innings. That's what I feel like this one's going to turn into. Question here about Tannehill is, do we try to let him swing away, or do we bunt with him? I think we bunt with him, actually. We bunt with him, and then we put in a pinch hitter for Altrox. Let's see what happens. The roll's a 14 for a 43. Little E roll is 22. This is going to be an error. It changes to 21. That is an error on the first baseman, Jones, and that puts runners at the corners with nobody out. And so Dode Chris has a little bit of bad luck here. Gives up a double to start things off, and then turns around and gives up this error to Tannehill. This is Jones who gives up the error, and that brings up Nick Altrock, who's going to be lifted here for a pinch hitter. So let's see what we can do. Billy Sullivan, I think we're going to have do this. There's another catcher on the bench in case something happens to Weaver. The other catcher can't hit very well. Infield will come in. We're not going to do a hit and run. I'm thinking about Tannehill. Do we want? No, we're not going to do a hit and run or a bunt. I mean, we're not going to bunt. Not going to do a hit and run. Sullivan has a 111 average this season, so it's going to be ugly. And we should have done a hit and run. His roll is a 34 for a 44, and that's a fly ball over to center field. Hoffman's got that for the out, but that's deep enough to score the runner on the sacrifice. And so Billy Sullivan here has won this game for the White Sox 3-2. White Sox wind up being totally out-hit in this one 7-6. I guess not totally. It wasn't that bad. But that ends up being a pretty rough loss for the Browns to suffer. I mean, the Browns had this game wrapped up for the most part, gave up that run in the bottom of the 8th inning, and then it was just a whole bunch of zeros going all the way over here to the 12th. So there you go. Final score again in this one, White Sox 3, Browns 2, and this was a pretty exciting game, if I do say so myself. Another one of these 1908 games that kind of goes down as something to remember. I hope you enjoy that one, and I'll talk with you again tomorrow. Bye.